Hey guys, it is Friday here in West Virginia, and it is time for us to do our Free It Friday. And we're going to take a pause from lowriders for a little bit. I know Wednesday we did an Ecto 1, but we still had a lowrider wagon. So today we're going to stick with nothing but muscle cars. And we have 3 of them from Greenlight for you guys. And actually, it's almost a full Chevy day. 2 Chevys and 1 Mopar. So we're going to start with the ones that are in the same series. The Chevelle and the Challenger both come from GL Muscle Series 12. And this thing is gorgeous in Hugger Orange. And it is pretty similar to Hemi Orange. I think Hemi Orange has a little bit more red in it than Hugger Orange. But yeah, it's still a really cool combo on a car like this orange with the black Yenko stripes and the black top and black interior. One of my favorite paint schemes on Chevy or Mopar. So, very cool car. There was a 69 Chevrolet Yenko Copo Chevelle. They were ordered as a Copo. That's called Central Office Production Order. They were ordered as a base Chevelle with the 427 big block in it. Chevy never released an SS 427 69 Chevelle. Nor an SS 427 Camaro. They only went to 396 on them. So people like Yenko and Dick Harrell, he was the one behind a lot of this 427s going in cars and building like factory drag cars at the dealership. But yeah, these came into 427 on it in it. And as I mentioned, they were not an SS, although some were maybe badged as an SS. Some may have even been ordered as an SS Copo, but usually Copos were in base trim, like what they call like a 6-cylinder trim, where there's no SS badges, nothing like that. But as we can see, this one does have, I think, an SS grill. No, it's a bow tie grill. Okay, so yeah, no SS back here either. So that's cool. So that does support my theory. So, and it's actually not a theory. It's based on facts. But yeah, these are very popular. These cars are beautifully done by Greenlight. The only thing I have against them, it seems like the rear end is, like the rear wheels are set back just a tad bit too far, or they did not center the wheel opening correctly. But it's not that bad. It still looks good when they're on display. So let's flip it around and take a look at what this card says. Building on the success from the Camaro in previous years, Don Yenko again used Chevrolet's Copo or COPO system to special order 99 Chevelles with the L72 427 V8 in 1969. Central Office production order upgrades included power front disc brakes, heavy-duty suspension, heavy-duty radiator, a 410 posi, 12-bolt rear end, and bucket seats. Yenko upgraded further by adding their graphics, emblems, Stuart Warner Tech, and Atlas Mag wheels, and high-performance engine modifications. So let's get this one out and take a look at it. And this one's pretty hard to find nowadays, too. It took me a while to find this. I actually found the yellow one and the orange one. But when it car sets down, you can, like, it doesn't set it too bad. If you see, like, now the rear wheel, it's not back like that. You can set it down. It moves forward a little bit, so it's okay. And, get the hood open here. And they did a very nice job on the big block Chevy. The valve covers still look a little too narrow. And on a GM product, they were usually always painted black under the hood. The engine was orange, but the inner fenders, core support, and firewall were always painted like a satin or matte black finish, unlike Mopar, where everything was the same color as the car. So as you can see, underneath is nicely detailed. These are numbered, which 1,567 out of God knows how many they made. So it's one of the cars that were mass-produced. But still, mass-produced for Greenlight probably still is like less than 20,000 units. So really cool car. Really happy to have this one. It'll go great with the Copo Camaro and Copo Nova there. But actually, they're both Yenkos, I should say, but the Camaro actually said Copo in the package, but it does have Yenko emblems on it. And the Nova said Yenko Nova, but they started as the COPO. So now moving on to the other car in this Series 12 of GL Muscle. This is the yellow version, the banana yellow 1970 Dodge Challenger TA. And I believe that there's 3, maybe 4 variants made by Greenlight of the TA Challenger in stock trim. There's a blue one, which we unboxed a while back, and I actually did a wheel swap on it so it would kind of match the other Auto World TA Challengers in my diorama. And then there's a green one, like Sublime Green, and then this banana yellow one. And there's a pink one too, I believe, in a BF Goodwrench ad. But it has 5-slot mags on it, but it still looks stock. So these cars were equipped with a 346 pack. They made these so they could compete in the racing series TA. So here's a ride about it. The Dodge Challenger TA was the production version of Dodge's entry into the Sports Car Club of America's Trans-American Sedan Championship in 1970. The 346 pack, a 340 cubic inch fitted with 3 2-barrel carburetors, was exclusive to the TA model in the Challenger lineup. And the CUDA was the AAR CUDA. So this series was released in 2015. So it's not that old. It's 10 years old, but it doesn't seem like it's been 10 years ago, but it was. So here it is. And the Challengers from Greenlight, the front track on these does set back too far. You could try to finagle it a little bit how it sets and push it forward. It may help, but not a lot. The passenger side looks a little better than the driver's side. Actually, it looks a hell of a lot better. And this, like the Johnny Lightning ones too, it sets very low. And they shouldn't set that low. It should be a little bit higher in stance. The best ones are by Auto World. Although these look good if you take a set of skinnier tires and put on them. Like when they come with the Magnum 500s, they have like a standard size tire and they look good. These extra thick Mopar rallies look good from a side shot, but going at a 3/4 view or front end or rear end, they're just way too wide. But they do a nice job on their Mopar rallies. Even though they're a little too wide, they still look really good. This one doesn't have all the holes cut out very good. It's plugged up with either the chrome or they just didn't punch out the holes that good. So very nicely done car. And this is another TA thing. They had these ducktail style spoilers. They were not like the Go Wing. They were a little bit different. They were flush mounted onto the deck lid with a little bit of like maybe a 45-degree rake. And then you had the scooped hood, and it was, I don't know if they were glass or if they were steel, to be honest with you. I think they were glass, but I don't want to make a liar out of myself. I know the A12 Roadrunners and Super Bs, they were lift-off glass hoods, but the TA and the AR CUDA, they were hinged, and I think they were still with glass scoops, and they may have been gutted for weight reduction, like the bracing may have been cut out of them. So, very cool car. Nice to add another E-body to my ever-growing Mopar muscle car collection. And now, last but not least, is the yellow, and this is Daytona yellow for Chevy. It looks like Mopar's banana yellow. Little bit darker, but not much. And it is also the Yenko Chevelle, and it probably has the same write-up. And this is from Series, let me show you that, for Series 14. And it says the same thing, building on the success for the Camaro in previous years, blah, blah, blah. Yes, so we don't need to read it again. And this series was released also in 2015. So, yeah, Greenlight was cranking them out in 2015, because this is Series 14, so they did 12, 13, and 14 in 2015. Not too bad. And I wish companies would start cranking out muscle cars like that again that look good. They just released the latest GL muscle cars, and I don't really care for any of them, to be honest. Maybe the new Challenger doesn't look too bad, but that would probably be the only one I would buy. The Roadrunner, it's just, I don't know, I like my cars to look stock, and that one does not look stock. So, but anyways, that's just me. Now, these guys here, these Yenko Chevelles and the TA Challenger, they're older releases. I love them. And occasionally, they'll crank out a new one that's like a must-have for me. But, yeah, this thing looks really good in yellow. And then side by side, they look awesome. Orange and yellow together. Very cool. And same thing, bow tie in the grill, no SS badge. They do have an SS hood on them, though. I believe that's the SS hood for a 69. And then they have the Yenko stripes, Yenko fender leg emblems, and then the Yenko emblems on the back. Very cool car. And this one is that's a low number. Less than 100. Number 74. That's pretty good. I didn't even look on the TA to see what number we got on it. 2,751. So number 74, that's pretty good for a regular release to have something that low. That's pretty good. It doesn't really matter to me. I know some people collect because of the serial number on the bottom. They want a specific one. Not me. I don't keep them packaged anyways, so they lose a lot of their value when you crack them open, but that's okay. I still like them open. They can sit around in parking lots and other dioramas I have. So this is all I have for you guys today. We'll be back over the weekend. I'm going to crack open some lowriders for you guys over the weekend. And then I will probably show you guys what I've been working on for a lowrider diorama. It's not really that spectacular, but it's okay. I had to move my dealership to another table temporarily so I could build this diorama. But as I said, it's nothing that fascinating, but you guys will see it over the weekend, along with some lowriders that we're going to unbox for you. So thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy the start of your weekend.